how's it going? Jujubear here, welcome back to the channel. We are playing Total War Attila, Age of Charlemagne DLC. And I'm playing as the Kingdom of the Danes. I brought myself a Housecarl General, which is a very heavy axe infantry unit. Does not carry a shield, so a little bit risky, but these guys have pretty intense stats backing them up. Really good charge bonus, really good attack, as you'd expect from a double-handed axe unit. But yeah, a bit of a gamble. So let's look at my army composition, shall we? Got spearmen, 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing up the back, just to avoid any rear charges. Got 2 archers up the front, in spread out fairly far in loose formation, just to absorb fire from the enemy. Behind them, I've got 3 of these armored archers. Wait, do I have 4? No, 3. 3 of these armored archers, which are going to be my my skirmishing and killing potential. They also have good armor, so they can also absorb quite a bit of fire from the enemy. And in my center, I've got a combination of axe herdmen, berserkers, axe herdmen, berserkers, axe herdmen, berserkers, axe herdmen. So these units have fairly good charge bonuses, good attack stats, that kind of thing. And I'm hoping to combine them with my spearmen at the back and just let them do the chopping and slicing and dicing. And also, over here in the woods, I've got 2 of these big axe units. Now, these guys are pretty much like all of those other units combined, but on steroids. So they've just got these big old axes. They have very light axe infantry. They do not carry a shield, so these guys can get wrecked by cav charges. They can get wrecked by missiles, you know, anything like that. So that's why I have a couple of them hiding out in the flanks here. Oh yeah, I've also got a skirmisher on this flank here as well. My opponent has brought a spam of lots of archers. So how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, yeah. So 7 archers, very light bow infantry. These guys don't have nearly as much armor as my armored archers do, but they should still pose a pretty serious threat. If he focus fires on one of my units, he could definitely do some serious damage on me. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these mounted swordsmen. Backing up them are a couple of these, well, 4 of these levy skirmishers. 2 of these scholar cav on this flank, and then a scholar cav and a guardsman on that flank. So my opponent, knowing that I don't have any access to any cavalry, has gone skirmish heavy. And he can do this because I don't really have any way of dealing with them other than bringing skirmishers of my own. So it's kind of a bit annoying. Like, his main line is made out of 5 mounted swordsmen, and those are pretty much the only units that all of my my axe infantry and stuff could do any damage against. So playing as the Kingdom of the Danes, I found recently that it's pretty easy to expose the weakness of the Kingdom of the Danes. So my archers went on skirmish mode, so they managed to get caught there. I think I lost maybe 6 of them. Actually, 1 to the cav charge, and I'm going to chase them off with spearmen. So the skirmish engagement has started. I am focus firing on certain units around the battlefield. There's 1 archer here, and I'm using, I think I've got 3 units just firing upon that 1 unit. And I've got my other archers over here on this flank firing into the back of that scholar cav as it runs away. So I feel like those kills are going to be more, I don't know, more valuable to me in the long run. So killing off archers seems like a bit of a waste of ammo, but there's nothing I can do. Like, even if my opponent expends any of his ammo on my archers, I'm happy, as long as he's not firing them into my Housecarl General or my berserkers or even my big axes as well. So as much ammo as I can get out of my enemy, the better. But mind you, he does have a couple of these levy skirmishers waiting in the rears, so probably not going to do too well in that engagement. So I'm using a flaming shot to make sure I get that archer off the field, but it doesn't quite get him out of, because he gets a little bit out of range there. So I'm going to focus fire on the next unit. Again, just using whistling shot and flaming shot to try and get a shock or a fear effect on my opponent. I think you're about to see a flaming volley here, yeah. So getting a couple of kills and just trying to get units off the field when they have not many units left. So it looks like he's actually just sending that unit on a death charge. So we managed to shatter that unit eventually. So we're going to switch targets now and aim for this archer here. I found, you guys just let me know if this is true, but I found Age of Charlemagne, you know, skirmishes, especially archers, seem to be a lot more useful. I find myself getting a lot more kills with the archers now. Even though lots of units are a lot more, or like heavily armored, I just feel like it's definitely a better option than it was in Total War Attila. I don't know how it worked like that. Yeah, as you can see, it's firing on my axe herdman here, so again, flaming shot and whistling shot, combination of the two, pushing back that archer there. I'm gonna have to retreat behind my spearman here, because he is pushing me with Scholar Cavalry. It looks like he's actually gonna force the engagement, which is bizarre because that's probably what I would want in my fight anyway. So trying to counter charge this Scholar Cav with my spearman, but he does manage to get into my axe herdman and get a couple of kills there. He is bringing his guardsman up, which is a bit of a risky move. No, there he goes. He's taking him back a little bit. So I'm going to focus fire my units in on this Scholar Cavalry with flaming shot on. He's going to see what I'm doing and pull his units back. Not before I get a couple of kills there, mind you. So at this point I was a little bit worried because he's moving into the woods here, which is where my big axes are hiding. So hopefully he doesn't see those units. Again, I don't know why I was using flaming shot. I think this unit was getting pretty close to routing, so. Again, the skirmishing fight continues, but my opponent is pushing, so I think he's just being a little bit impatient with his units. You can see that he's losing the skirmishing fight, and it looks like he's just keen to push the agenda. But it looks like his archers are actually aiming on my housecarls, which is definitely not good for me. I want to make sure that I can defend these units. But yeah, you can see my housecarl general just losing units, not very good at all. So I'm going to make sure I push those units back. I have to try and get this housecarl into melee combat as quickly as possible. Otherwise, he's going to get wrecked by archer fire. So the axe herdman coming in for a charge up against these units. So he's in shield wall, but my berserkers are going to come in here and get lots of kills. Up against mounted swordsmen, they don't really stand a chance, and pretty much immediately my berserkers go out of control, and they're going to start racking up the kills. So getting my housecarls into melee combat as well. I want to make sure that they're not just sitting up the back taking shots from the enemy archers. But you can see these levy skirmishers are absolutely pouring in the fire here against my housecarls. So he's going to be killing his own units, especially this mounted swordsman. But I don't think he really cares at this point. He just wants to get as many kills as he can. At this point, I think I pulled in my big axes from the woods, and I'm going to chase off his cavalry with my own spearmen there. So in the center, yep. Eventually, my housecarl general did die. So probably not the best use of my general. I can admit I probably pushed him in a little bit too late after taking a lot of fire, and I didn't deal with the enemy skirmishers before I got into combat either. So managing to destroy his mainline infantry pretty easily actually. These are big axes doing what they do best, which is chopping up enemy infantry. See if we can, oh yeah, we got a beheading. We're getting lots of beheadings. Wow. This is what they do. My berserkers are out of control, just doing what they do best, which is run after enemy units on the battlefield. Look at these guys go, wearing their coat of dead wolves. So what are we looking at here? We got a couple of cavalry out in this flank, which I'm pretty nervous about, to be honest. So I've got a spearman here just waiting to do some damage. I've got archers left who are firing on his archers. He does have a lot of skirmisher units, which is definitely a cause for concern for me. I do have a lot of infantry left, but if he has the ammo for it, he could definitely destroy the rest of my units, especially with the help of these guardsmen and scholar cavalry. So he's got all of his cavalry left and all of his skirmishers. He's just lost his mainline infantry. So I'm just going to have to put up a chase somewhat. This archer doesn't really have heaps of ammo. That one's almost out. A lot of his levy skirmishers are pretty much out as well. So I guess I'm going to have to put my units into some kind of spaghetti formation. And and see if I can just absorb as much fire as possible. So his guardsmen down to 15 men. I don't think his general has died yet. General's alive, yeah. The Scholar Cav down to 14 men. So yeah, all across the board, my units are kind of struggling. My axe herdmen, we're taking a fair bit of fire from the enemy here, but it looks like they're doing all right. These are big axes taking some fire from this levy skirmisher. They're definitely going to pay for that. So I'm going to chase them out of the woods. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to put it on forward for a second. What I'm doing, oh yeah, I managed to catch one of his, or he caught me actually with his levy skirmisher, but I'm going to pull through and try and get to his archers there. I'm going to pull all my units into the woods just because there's not really anything that I can do aside from chase his units across the map, and I don't really want to do that. I have got a skirmisher unit, and I was going to hopefully use that against his cavalry. So once his cavalry gets close enough, I'll hold them with my spearmen and then fire into them with my skirmishers. So this spearman I'm just kind of dangling out here as a bit of a bait. But it looks like I'm going to have to try and close the gap on this Scholar Cavalry.
The men's resolve is failing.
Pretty much all of my archers have no ammo anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me if they die or not. He's going to send in his skirmishers here. One last charge. These Scholar Cav are going to get into my own spearmen. They're probably going to do quite well. Eventually I'll be able to deal with them, but here comes the other Scholar Cav, and it's going to get into my skirmishers here, which is annoying because I had a little bit of ammo left. These spearmen don't have the best morale either, so definitely going to be a bit of a challenge to try and keep my units alive. Going to chase off his skirmishers there. I think I actually managed to catch a couple of his archers here with my big axes. We'll make short work of those units. These levy skirmishers getting caught by my berserkers, man, they're out of control now as well. No, they're not. They're just running around with their swords up in the air. And looks like my spearmen are just going to chase these cavalry. So the end of the game is a little bit scrappy. Just because I realized that I didn't really have much of a chance unless I played a little bit more defensively. And my opponent, kudos to him, he played pretty well. See him charging into my spearmen here, but I'm following up with these axe herdmen. We'll actually do quite well. We're going to pull down this Scholar Cav eventually. But he does have another Scholar Cav banging about. Probably going to come around the flank and just attack me here. My big axe is going to make very short work of those Scholar Cav. Yeah, you can see them charging in, just getting lots of kills. But taking a lot of damage from this charge from the Scholar Cav. These big axes are great. Very, very good units, but they just don't have the defense. They're pretty much no defense, pretty much no armor, and pretty much no no missile block chance actually. So very difficult to try and make them work on the battlefield, but eventually we managed to wear down and chase down the opponent here. 176 kills from that berserker. Axe herdmen doing a pretty good job. The big axe is not really being used effectively. I could have just skipped them and brought more archers next time, I think. But yeah, definitely all like a learning curve. Next time that I bring the Kingdom of the Danes, definitely going to try and bring more skirmishes just so I can deal with the enemy threat of like cavalry and enemy skirmishes, that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks Palex for the game. This is Jujubear signing out. See you next time. Peace.